Hello, this is JJ from Tech Savvy Women, and I am here today with a fascinating woman. She is the data editor at US News and World Report. I am so happy to introduce Lindsey Cook. Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I came across Lindsey a few weeks ago for an article called Research Shows Male STEM Faculty Are Less Likely to Support the Research Showing Gender Bias. And I quickly contacted Lindsey. So Lindsey, I'd love to have you chat a little bit about the article you wrote a few weeks ago.
The article showed that men, especially men in STEM fields who are working at universities, are less likely to listen to research about gender bias. So how the researchers did this study was they showed one abstract, which was a real abstract of a study that had shown gender bias. And then they asked both men and women how they felt about the study, how professional they thought it was, how accurate, how researched. And they found that for the abstract that actually showed gender bias, that men rated it lower than the women did, and the men rated it lower than they rated other abstracts that did not show gender bias.
So what does that mean exactly? So is it that even though the gender bias exists, people are not recognizing that it does?
I think what the main takeaway should be for someone in STEM is that we as women in STEM are trying to put out there showing that gender bias is real and that it really does affect women. Men in STEM are actually less likely to think that this research is valid. I think that as women in STEM, we have really concentrated on this research because we kind of think, oh, well, men in STEM, they're very logical, they're very analytical. Surely they will realize that this is a problem when they're presented with the data. And that is actually not the case, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate, that is for sure. But women are persevering. I mean, you and I both have degrees in computer science. Do you think things are changing for women in this field?
Yeah, I do think that things are changing. I got into this field through my mother, who worked at IBM in the 80s, actually. And I do think that things have changed a lot since she was in the field. But I think for computer science especially, in some ways it's gone backwards. I mean, really, women owned computer coding for a whole period of history. It was thought of a woman's job. It was thought of even as below a man. So in many ways it was really owned by women at the beginning, and then there was kind of a resurgence, and now we've kind of tapered off, and there's actually less women. It's a very dire situation.
So what advice would you give to young women considering a minor or a major in a STEM degree?
I mean, I think that it's worthwhile. The thing to remember is that research has shown that women are really drawn to the world-changing aspects of STEM and computer science, that is applied, you can help people. Unfortunately, a lot of the undergraduate programs and graduate programs are not focused on this aspect of computer science. So I think as a woman in STEM, drawing those connections for yourself between the things that you're learning and the real life examples, whether that be volunteer opportunities outside of your degree program or an internship in another field where you're using your skills from your STEM major, those things are really crucial to give you the kind of strength and make sure that your eyes are on the prize in a sense. And I think that building camaraderie with other women in the field is really important. Sitting next to the other women in class definitely has always made me feel like I belonged more than kind of being alone in a sea of men. Yeah, I would say that those connections are important, and connections with your female professors as well.
I think that's fantastic advice. And in fact, I just read, I believe 2 weeks ago, that Harvey Mudd altered some of their course titles to add that connection to real world value. And some people said, well, everybody knows what it is, but I think that women really like to connect their work to something that matters, so that they know they're putting the time and effort into things that can further something in the right direction. So I think that's a really great point. And obviously there's been quite a few articles written about safe zones and women connecting with other women, that they can build some camaraderie and be able to create a safe place to discuss some of the challenges and obstacles. So in some of the work that I do, I see there are so many benefits to thought diversity and really having different people at the table. So from your perspective, what do you see of the positives of having this diverse group of people continue to pursue careers in STEM to further different products and solutions?
Sure. I think we've seen over and over again how products and solutions that have more diverse teams serve people better. The classic example I think of is, the Apple Health app that launched without a period tracking function. That is just a huge oversight on the Apple developers. And I think that, that's something that really wouldn't have happened if it was 50-50 women and men.
Sure.
I think, in terms of science, the lack of research on male contraception is also a good example. So I think that the main issue is just that when you have these teams where it's a bunch of white guys, that you're really not creating products that serve America and that serve the world and that serve traditionally women roles. You're kind of concentrated on one person's experience in the world. Economic diversity is also important, I think, in that respect. Geographic diversity, it's not just gender diversity, it's racial diversity, diversity of opinions, all those types of things. You just cannot build a good product with a bunch of white guys from Connecticut.
Well, I really appreciate your insight, Lindsey. And, personally, I'm still waiting for a car that has somewhere I can put my purse effectively. I hear the Tesla has that, so I'm definitely going to look into that. But I agree. I think that different genders view things differently, and having diverse thought can really create an overall better product for the marketplace. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to following you and watching more of your data additions. So thank you.